Debt. Something we all hate but can't ignore. Some use this devil as a way to get ahead, while many get crushed under its pressure. We're going to hear out a few different stories that are all too common regarding this growing issue and different ways that these people have ended up in this position. Some of them completely losing hope on ever being free to these handcuffs of interest. And if you unfortunately relate to any of these stories or you like content like this, that's kind of like topic discussion, conspiracy yes related, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I appreciate that.
Y'all ever thought about running up credit cards and then just kill yourself?
As a credit repair specialist, I've actually seen this happen before. Not the unaliving part, but I did have one client that ran up like $80,000 with the credit card debt. And then they're like, hey, you can remove this for me, right? I'm like, yeah, I mean, as long as the accounts is closed, I can get them removed. They was like, you know what? Bet, say less. And then like 2 rounds, like all the debt got wiped away. And it got me thinking, if I was able to get $80,000 with the credit card debt removed from just a regular person, imagine what the rich get away with.
I feel like
You
because
hear that, guys? We're not playing a fair game. We're playing on two completely different ball fields. But yeah, it seems like the whole cause of debt has many different factors, like whether that's medical debt, student loan debt, credit card debt. That's one of the worst ones by all. And that seems to be the majority of American citizens have most of their debt in is these damn credit cards.
we're a little bit older, we can finally have a conversation about this. But why did nobody tell me how scary debt actually is?
They
Like,
don't want you to know that. It's funny. They push that on you as soon as even before you become 18. And pretty much half of high school, or at least the last half of high school in the U.S., is just trying to convince you that college is the best idea in the entire universe. When then you eventually get to your middle 20s and you realize, like, who ever thought this was a good idea? Like, oh yeah, the people are making money off of it.
credit card debt, student loan debt, that is actually terrifying. Like, people will be under the age of 25 with over $70,000 in credit card debt
That's more than the majority of them probably make a year, at least at the age of in their 20s.
alone. Oh, yeah, come with me to sell my house so we can get out of credit card debt. That is baffling. It makes me
If you have a
realize how
house to
much
sell,
the education system really did fail us as a whole. Like, they're sitting here teaching us the Pythagorean theorem whole time. I've still yet to use it. I'm still waiting. When I didn't know how to file my taxes since last year, mind you, I'm 22. Hell, I don't even know how to change my oil. I just learned to check my oil last year. I am 22. Again, 22. Mind you, okay, that's a whole different reason why I didn't learn that shit. Don't eat me up. But even student loan debt is scary. Like, people are going away to college, and mind you, I'm not shitting on nobody who went away to college and had a time in their life. You know, you found yourself. You know, it's your first time being by
was it
yourself,
worth
away from
it?
your family. I support going away to college, but they don't tell you that the amount of debt you are going to be in when you come back and you graduate and you get that degree. If you did not go there with a full ride scholarship, when you come back, that debt is your ass, and they hound you. And they call you. They send you all my types of emails. They start even garnishing your wages if you don't pay that shit. Bro,
Not my
that is
wages.
scary. And look, I'm like $600 in credit card debt, and I'm in shambles.
I just found out
600 is nothing compared to a lot of these other people. But to be completely honest, it is pretty bizarre how they teach us about how important debt is, but never teach us how to use it or actually use it to our success. And there's a Dave Ramsey method. There's a Dave Ramsey method where you don't use debt at all whatsoever. It's kind of been what I've been sticking to throughout my early 20s because I don't trust myself. Not that I'm completely, you know, moronic with in terms of my money, but it's just like it's a very slippery slope in terms of the interest, and that's usually what the majority of the debt ends up being for a lot of different things. Which crazy, right? You're not even paying what you borrowed; you're paying uh, whatever interest is supposed to be. All right. Now this girl has some pretty interesting story here that I'm very questionable about.
my grandmother, my elderly grandma, has been charging my credit card for the last 1 to 2 years for her purchases. So I
That sounds illegal to me. Is that fraud? I'm not no tax expert. I'm not no financial advisor. I don't even really know what I'm talking about. I'm just some kid who talks about stuff on YouTube. But grandma's gonna need to find those handcuffs pretty comfortable. Granny's gonna be sitting in a cell.
I've seen on my card, on my charges for the last 1 to 2 years on my credit card, my Chase Visa, random charges from Amazon Prime, $5, $12, $10, whatever. And I've tried to
It adds
dispute
up.
it, but it goes nowhere because it's basically like, well, go to the merchant. And I'm like, but it's not me. How can I go to the merchant when it's literally not me? And this has probably been a lot of money over the last 2 years, but I've just been blissfully unaware, and I've just ignored it
It's
because I
funny
just
that the company, whoever it is, I'm sorry to keep pausing, didn't even care about the fact that she keeps getting charged. She's complaining about it, saying it's not her for the last few years. They just care that they're getting those little fees whenever they do the little transfers.
didn't want to deal with it. So I finally text my mom today because I see I 4 more charges this morning of like $5 each. I text my mom and I'm just like, someone is charging my credit card Amazon Prime, and she goes, "Oh yeah, it's grandma." Oh yeah, and if you we watched Wicked a
Mom was in
couple
on
weeks
it.
ago together. So if you see that charge, that was Wicked. And I'm like, what do you mean? You guys have just been charging my credit card for your Amazon Prime purchase, like your video purchases? Like it just is a thing. So I text my grandpa and I'm like, hey, I think grandma is charging stuff onto my credit card from Amazon Prime. And he goes, yeah, we thought we were just getting it for free.
Do you hear? Do you guys just hear that? They thought it was getting for free, and a whole family has collectively decided on using this girl's credit card. Now, what have they been paying it off? Has she been paying it off? I assume. I hope she has been. What if they just completely tanked her credit before then she didn't know it was them? Then you think she'd get the law involved? And how would the courts decide this? Knowing this is just this just doesn't sound right in any sort of regard.
Like, what? I'm not even gonna add it up. He's like, I'll chase pay you, just add it. I'm like, I don't really care. I don't care at this point, but it's probably been a lot of money over the last 2 years because I've
You
been
don't
seeing
care.
these charges and just not really caring. But now I just know it's my sweet old grandma just watching videos and reading books, so I don't even care anymore.
I wonder how she'd feel if it was completely somebody else that she didn't know. I don't think it would just be her sweet little grandma. It would just be sounds like fraud. I don't really know the terms, the definition of these words, but sounds about right. All right, now we're gonna go into this girl right here who actually wants to pay off her debt in the working class type of way, sort of way, where she's actually gonna be doing different like delivery apps and sort of like app based jobs to pay off her debt in a frequent manner.
Today, I am $8,107 in credit card debt, not including student loans, but we're going to ignore that for a little bit longer, and I do
We're gonna ignore that for a little bit longer. Let's just let that add up a bit.
not like it. So my goal this week and also subsequent weeks is to really grind it out and get this shit paid off. The goal is to make an extra $1,000 a week with Instacart, which would be $142 a day, so we'll see about
She can knock it out in only a few months if she does that
I feel
right.
like that's pretty doable. So I'm at Kroger, I have a Pepsi, I have a bagel, oops, add $1.89.
Add $1.89. We're just adding it up now.
Delivered it about an hour later for $14, so slow start. Part of that was related to me dropping the eggs at checkout. For those doing the math, I would need to do 10 of those orders a day for 10 hours a day for 8 weeks straight in order to meet my goal, which is not going to happen. So I kind of need to change something, but unfortunately I'm at the mercy of Instacart with my orders because
Instacart.
Another hour later, I delivered my second order for $17, raising my total to $31. My third and fourth orders were really easy and took about an hour combined. One of them ordered 18 boxes of cereal, which I thought was interesting. And my fifth order was a package of adult diapers, bringing my total to $58. For my sixth order, I switched it up and went to Target to shop for a little girl's birthday party. My seventh order brought me back to Kroger, and my eighth order was the one that broke $100. I just need to do that 81 more times. I thought about stopping there because I feel really uncomfortable delivering in the dark, but then I realized it's only like 6:30, so I powered through one more order, bringing my total to 126 for the day. It's not 143 like I had hoped, but I'll make up for it tomorrow, hopefully. I will definitely start earlier.
You know what? Good for her though, for making a plan to pay off her debts and pay back whatever she borrowed. But it's crazy. I only have to do this 81 more times. That's it. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Let's do it every single day. Let's never have a single day off. But you know what? She could definitely stretch that out and let the interest build up. But I do like how she has the mindset to get it all paid off. And honestly, her $8,000, that's far more than I'd feel comfortable with, but that's a lot less than the average person, I would assume. For example, right here, how I got $24,000 worth of credit card debt at 22 years old. We're talking about credit card debt. Probably pretty high rate interest, I would assume. That's what most of them end up being.
I'm 22 years old and I have about $100,000 worth of debt to my name. $24,000 of that is towards my credit card debt. I did choose debt settlement, so my credit card
Is that a
debt
good
went
idea? Let me
from
know. I've never really had debt like that.
$37,000 to $24,000. I'm not getting charged interest on any of my credit card debt
Well, that's
anymore
nice, I
because
guess.
I chose debt settlement. Yes, this is going to stay on my credit record for 7 years, but I feel like that's better.
Do people care about credit anymore? I haven't even heard that being talked about in years. I know when like you're renting stuff, like let's say you're trying to move to an apartment, or let's say you're trying to, whatever. I know that credit's important, but I haven't heard them been talking about it in a long time now. People don't care about that anymore, it seems like.
Than declaring bankruptcy, I would go out to the bars and spend like $200. Nobu 3 times a week. Always put my card down.
At least it went to a good
when
place.
I was with my ex-boyfriend. I also went on lots of trips. I went to Japan. A lot of my credit card debt is from...
I've never been on a single trip. I'm 25. If someone told me I could just use credit cards, I wish I would have known.
Realistic items, like me and my roommate would like go to Balenciaga and just like ball out. I bought nice jewelry.
At least you got some goodies.
I bought nice furniture. I also bought a bunch of tattoos. I was making irresponsible decisions because I was an irresponsible child, pretty much. But here I am at 22 years old with all this credit card debt. You know, I'm holding on to all of this debt being a distant memory in a year or two. I will be out of credit card debt. I will be financially free again one day. I know I can do it.
Well, at least she still believes. To be honest, though, yeah, being only 22, which is relatively pretty young, at least in my opinion, and being like $24,000, I think she said, in debt, she's in a negative in terms of her whole life. If you think about that, every year of her life has cost her more than $1,000. She's never once profited a single year of her life. What a wild thing to say. It's what a wild way to think about that. Now we're going to touch in some comments. I do appreciate all the love and support you guys have been throwing over here. And feel free to comment. You might see yours in a future video. Anything less than $20 an hour is slavery. I think $20 is at least the minimum wage for most people anyway. Let's see here. Owning a house is like having golden handcuffs. I thought that was quite the phrase. I thought that might stick in somebody's head because that's kind of stuck in mine for a bit. And then the last few here, the problem is not the job or a 9-to-5 job. It's not being able to pay bills. I'm willing to work, even work a 12-hour shift. Yikes, that's pretty heavy. But if I'm still struggling after all that, and then I might as well quit life. Work is not that bad. It's dealing with bills and struggling to survive. Oh yeah, it's reality. Well, I wish it didn't have to be, but it seems like it is. So, but you could just do what the first lady said, and we could just run up all the cards and just jump off a cliff. And then, yeah, pretty much that's the majority of the video or of the comments that I'm going to touch on today. But feel free to comment. You might see yours later. If you do like this, if you do relate to any of this stuff that we've talked about, touch on this video. If you like the topic, discussion, conspiracy, S-related content videos, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you probably tomorrow. I upload just about every single day.